And welcome everyone to Entrepreneuring, a podcast where sometimes multiple times a week, I sit down with an entrepreneur and discuss exactly what their business is. I'm sitting here today with Marina Cardon. Welcome, Marina.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Good in yourself?
I'm doing just fine. Now, we're here today to talk about revolvecases.com. So, what exactly is Revolve Case?
So the Revolve iPhone or the Revolve case is an iPhone case for the 6. It's an interchangeable insert system. So what it means is that when you have your original, can I show you actually?
Certainly. Yeah.
What's in my purse? Never
As
mind.
long as it's not green, because then it'll just disappear because of the green screen.
Yeah, it's actually over there in my purse, so no, it's okay. It's a phone case. It's a phone case, and it's initially your case is your shell, and it works as an insert system. So you have your second component, and then you can go ahead and insert it into your case. And that insert specifically is either, say, a tech case, which holds your charger, your headphones, a pen, and USB flash drive, or we have a photography insert, which is 4 different lenses for your iPhone camera. So the whole point of the Revolve is that it's interchangeable. Those are like our 2 inserts that we have out right now, but we're currently also have a full face of makeup for the girls.
I'm pulling in an image from your website right now, which isn't the best production in the world, but just so people can get an idea of exactly what Revolve Case looks like for the video audience.
Yes, that's why.
It's a fantastic idea. I saw this and immediately was thinking to myself, why has this not been done before? Which is probably a good reaction to have. It means it's a smart product.
Thank you. I mean, we got the idea just kind of because my dad, the engineer behind it, he realized the only thing that I ever carried with me was my phone. And it didn't matter if I was going hiking or to a concert or on a date. The only thing I ever had was my phone. So it's kind of where the inserts came into play. Is the tech survival we got as an idea from being a student. And then we got the photography one because I'm a photographer. The makeup one because girls always want their makeup with them. But are like more, the prototypes that we're working on more right now are actually a diabetic glucose tester that you can fit back there.
Oh, that's genius.
And it'll hold, hopefully, like the tester itself, and then it'll have the testing strips, and then also for for mobile medicine, we also have the pill box, and it'll work with like a app on your phone as a reminder. So it's kind of the cool thing about Revolve is anything that you can hold in the space between your hand and the back of your phone. If it fits, then it fits, and you can have it with you at all times. So
that's great. I'm just thinking about how much I would like this just for flight.
Yeah.
I hate having to pull out my messenger bag from under the seat and untangle my headphones and find a charger. And yeah, something like this just seems wonderful for traveling.
Yes.
So where did it all start? How did you start kind of prototyping this case out?
We actually, so we kind of always try to dabble in inventions. We've done a few different things. Nothing's ever really worked out as much as this one. So we always kind of go back to our like basics of getting cardboard or like the poster boards and cutting them out and kind of like the way architecture students do. And then we realized that we had something kind of neat on our hands, and we moved and we worked with some investors that we've worked with previously. And they went ahead and we purchased a 3D printer and ended up doing that and learning software and learning everything as we went.
That's great. It's something you hear often when talking to entrepreneurs is you rapidly have to learn many things that you never studied in school, you never dabbled with before, and you kind of just have to, one Google search at a time, teach yourself how to do what needs to be done for your company. So what I have to ask, what was it like learning to do a 3D printer? Because that's something personally I've been wanting to get into for a while now. It just seems like so much fun.
Yeah, I think it was difficult at first. My dad has experience with construction and CAD and architectural designs, but in the sense of doing something that's a mechanical engineering, not too much other than just messing around. And we kind of just had to like build up on those fundamentals and figure out how you had to specifically draw and design so that the print would come out clean, because the way it works is it's layer by layer. And if he had one line that was off, the whole print was ruined. So like
Oh, I
one
can see
line that
that.
was ruined, or one line that was off in the design itself, the whole print would be ruined. So
Oh, I can see that. I've personally interned at a prop making warehouse when I was in college, and this was before 3D printers, so we were using a large industrial like milling router,
yeah.
and we would carve these giant blocks of styrofoam that would then get sent over to the fiberglassing department, which and I remember very similar things. If one thing was off, you could ruin everything. And also in that case, it was dangerous. If you messed up the drill speed, it could snap the bit off and send it flying across the warehouse at dangerous speeds. But yeah, it's funny. You have to your math. It needs to be dead on with that kind of stuff, or you can.
Even just your timing. If we had to have a case done by a certain time, we kind of had to sit back and think about the print time of piece A, piece B, piece C, and then figuring out what components we could fit in there real quickly if we had like a due date or a presentation. So, but you know, we're a little better at it now.
Well, that's great. So how many different iterations did you go through before you landed on your first like market ready version of the Revolve case?
Oh boy, probably anywhere between like 100 to 150, if
Oh
not.
wow.
Yeah.
So you did your due diligence to come up with a good product that you were happy with. It sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, even it's funny because we'll look at them now and they're market ready, but we like to still say that we could always improve. But we definitely, it's funny to look back at the prototypes, and they're actually the models that are seen in our commercial. They're kind of square still, the edges aren't really refined, but now you see them and they look like a something you'd see in a store. So as much as work as it took, we're pretty proud of it.
Yeah, it looks like something I would not be surprised to find at the Apple Store when I go and I'm looking at the large rack of overpriced cases. I'm not sure how they got to the price that they are, but no, it's I think your branding looks pretty solid. It looks like a nice professional iPhone case. So, what is your market right now? Where is Revolve Case at this moment? Are you selling just locally? Have you expanded out nationwide?
Currently we're online, but as a business point, what we want to end up doing is go ahead and license them out to another company. It would just be better for us, and of course, we want to stay behind the scenes and continue developing inserts or even improvements on the case itself. But really where we're at is just trying to get ourselves out there still a little bit more. But I think eventually, if we're not picked up by someone else, that we're just going to continue to push through and do it ourselves.
Are there any versions of the case that you haven't made yet that you would like to make? Like I saw this and I immediately thought like, oh, this again, the travel nut in me. Like this would be great if it also had the built-in battery pack or something of that nature.
Yeah. We've talked about that, some type of battery pack, or even doing a second version of the case of having the rubber, like say like the OtterBox cases or like the silicone wrapping. We're pretty set on the case itself. That's our variable is more the inserts, but being that we're the engineers ourselves, is that if someone says, hey, do a case where I can put my snacks in it or my car keys in it, give us a week and a half and we can have a prototype for you. So
yeah, that's what I love about this idea of the insert, because you feel good investing in the case because you know you can just I need it for this purpose now. You can just pop out the one insert and pop in a new one.
Mm-hmm. And that's how like as a student, during the weekdays, I'll have the tech survival because I always want my headphones or my charger. But then when I go hiking, then I'll pull out my photography insert and have that one in there for like the weekends. So yeah, I mean, it's my product, but I also like to think it's pretty diverse.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're gonna be a little biased towards your own product, but no, I think it's a pretty smart idea.
Thank you.
So. So what are the future plans? You mentioned licensing it out. How far are you in that? Are you just at the research point?
Yeah, we're talking to some companies, a few different private label companies, and just seeing what they have to offer, and hopefully talking to more in the future. Recently, we were taken to CES in Las Vegas at the beginning of the year, which is the Consumer Electronics Show.
Yes, yeah. I've always wanted to make it out to that. How was it going out to CES in a professional fashion?
Yeah, I don't know, it looked really cool from the video. We didn't get to go ourselves, but our product was there.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I've heard it's really hard to get in, but we had our product displayed there, and that's how come we actually met with some of those private labels. So just do kind of more things like that, and we would like to eventually just do other trade shows of the sort, or we want to, as a brand of Revolve, we want to kind of be more of a fun brand, can relate to its consumers, and just relate to people and not just be a brand of a phone case or the phone case that you buy. So we want to like even maybe expand to going to like live events like music festivals and promoting there and getting consumers that way. So
Right. It sounds like you have the ability to rapid prototype, so you can really take feedback from your customers to heart and very quickly have a turnaround and have a new product that was 100% crowdsourced from your customers.
yeah, so that's how come we want to keep that connection with everyone.
So as far as having your product out in the public eye at something like CES, what did you have to do to kind of protect your product, your idea?
So we did the whole IP, the intellectual property with the patents and all that, and it's actually a pretty funny story. Kind of like the engineering aspect of it, we all did it ourselves. It's me, my mom, and my dad, and our two investors, but the three of us were the ones that had to like sit down and write the patents ourselves, and they're protected, and that's how come we're so comfortable throwing them out there and whatnot. But that was a learning experience all on its own.
Any tips for other entrepreneurs out there that are having to trademark or register their product for the first time?
I think it's definitely capable. Everyone's capable of doing it. Just do your research, and don't be afraid to call the patent office and bug them with questions. We probably called about 10 times that day in one day, and they were very welcoming and very helpful. So called.
Got on a first name basis with the patent office, it sounds
Oh yeah, we had two agents that we call. But it worked.
Well, that's great. Yeah, no, always be open to getting help from people who know more than you. I feel like is a common theme in every entrepreneuring interview I've conducted so far.
Oh yeah, ask for help, and if there's someone that you think would know a little bit about your product or how to help you, just kind of bring it up and discuss.
So other than marketing at events like CES, what other marketing tools have you employed? Are you using social media? Are you running any ad campaigns online or locally?
We've done some stuff locally with the college. We reached out to dorm residents, and then we've done stuff at our local bookstore. Just 2 days ago, we were part of Studio G's showcase here on campus, so we were there. And then we've also our biggest marketing marketing tool right now has been our commercial that we did a little bit more than a year ago. That was the commercial I was talking about earlier. Is if you look at our prototypes, they're so different from where we're at now. But we went out to Los Angeles and filmed that commercial with a family friend, and that I think I have to give thanks to, because that whole commercial has gotten us to I think where we're at now, because people tend to understand what the product is and how it works, and we kind of sell the feel of it, the like lifestyle, cool Santa Monica vibe. And so we do that. We have our social media, but really I think it's the commercial. That commercial has done a lot for us.
Well, that's good to know, because having to come up with just a video in general, whether you want to call it a commercial or not, is something I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs are finding out they need to do. Yes. Especially a lot of people are going the crowdfunding route nowadays, and whether you're on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or something else, it's like if you don't have a video, no one's. It almost feels it's a bad thing, because like it's just become the standard now, the norm for those type of crowdfunding campaigns. So it's interesting to hear that's Because you didn't do a crowdfunding campaign, but it's interesting to hear that even without it, the commercial was still so helpful. Oh, you tried?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We did try, and that was kind of our first failure, but we learned from it. And that's actually why we did the video. But now the video has gotten us help otherwise.
Well, that's great. I mean, you were able to pivot off of that and still use assets that were created for it.
Yes. So.
Yeah. If folks want to see the commercial, is there an easy way to find it?
Yeah, you can actually just go to our website, revolvecases.com, and it's the first one there. Or if you go to YouTube and just search Revolve Cases, it is there. So I want to say it's our only video up there aside from a little promo that we did with our little dog.
It's great. It's hilarious. I know people are watching this out of order, but just before this, I had an interview with someone who actually brought their dog.
Yes, I saw the dog come out of the hallway.
Gorgeous Labrador.
Yes.
Or sorry, retriever. So for folks out there who are having to come up with a video to promote their product, what advice would you give them?
I would say that more than showing off the aspects or the features of your case in detail, I would say to really show more people using it and getting the function themselves, and that way so your viewers can see how it works rather than why it works. And then I don't know, personally with our video we focused on selling the lifestyle that you would have, a little bit more convenience, because I mean it's in your hand, your phone is the only thing in your hand at all times. So really just sell a fun lifestyle, or if you're doing something serious, sell that serious feel. And I mean we've been told that as feedback on our video or on our commercial or whatever you want to say, is that you see our models in the video with it and you think, oh, that's really cool, I want to be like that. And it sounds so cheesy, but everyone has told us that. So you eventually start thinking that's how you should market something, is making your viewer feel like they're in the video.
Right. It's funny in this day and age because we feel like we for lack of a better word, we know how the sausage is made now. We know when we're being marketed to, and it almost feels like you need to fight against that. But it still functions. The same principles for advertising. It still works.
Yes.
It's still something that you should employ. Yeah, and it sounds like you had a big focus on kind of showing your product in its element that it would be in once you actually have this. You'll be out on the town, whether it's Santa Monica or not.
Yeah.
and using your case to keep your stuff in.
Yeah, so that's exactly how we thought about it with our director. So
that's great, and it seems like you were leveraging your network quite well in that case as well. It's a good example of using people you know.
Yes, definitely. I think we've done that with just about everything that Revolve's done. Our video, like I said, was done by a friend out of Las Cruces who is just way talented, Ryan Valdez in LA, and then we were lucky enough to have him around, and even now Chris Dunn and all of them here at Studio G. We met, I think, at the start of the semester or the start of the school year, and they've helped us with where we're at now. And even beta users, friends and family, just kind of, hey, use this for a day. Tell us what you think is wrong with it, or what colors should the cases be. So I think that's something some entrepreneurs are scared to do, is tell their family and their friends, I'm doing this, I'm not going to work a real job, or I'm not going to focus in school as much. But I think you just have to get out there and really, really do it and not be afraid. Yeah.
Now, as far as taking feedback, getting critiques, and kind of leveraging the community of consumers you built around your product, how helpful has that been?
It's been everything. Like we say, and you even earlier, of course, we're a little bit biased, but if you can have feedback from people that aren't afraid to hurt your feelings a little bit or just tell you the honest truth, then your product's going to eventually be better. So
that's great to hear, because sometimes you hear horror stories about YouTube comments. So
yeah, and I mean, we'll ask people no, tell us what's wrong, and they're just I don't know, I can't think of anything, and we're no, there's something wrong.
please poke holes in this.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's not something you necessarily think of naturally when you're getting into building your own business. But it's like, no, you need to go out and ask people
Yes,
to
definitely.
tell you what's wrong with what you're doing.
Oh yeah, we'd rather hear what's wrong with it than what's right. So
Absolutely. Well, that's great. Well, Marina, before we wrap this up, is there any other things you wanted to bring up, or where can people find you and keep up with Revolve Case?
if you just Google Revolve Cases, all our social media comes up, all our YouTube, our Vimeo, and our website comes up. So we're out there.
Oh, wonderful. Well, great. Well, thank you for your time, Marina. You've been fantastic. Everyone, again, check out revolvecases.com, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.